Hi, morning everyone. So that's a page 4 article. So congratulations to each one of you. And it is your doing. And the children and the parents all put together. What you and I have to be very grateful to the Supreme Divinity. Whenever something, if there's a crisis on, something bad happens, or you want some kind of a sickness or a poverty or an emergency that you want to get out of, you start praying. We forget to rejoice and pray when something good happens to us also. At that time, generally we say, it is our luck, our work, my hard work. We say, no, it is not so. It is the supreme grace which makes it happen. And it is the supreme grace which has brought all of us together. So each one of us have to contribute with what we have, and we have to build what we don't have. There is something called in Taittiriya Upanishad called Vishayananda. The article, what it means is that how we have our fun and joy and desires and cravings fulfilled. Vishayananda. And there is another one called Bhajanananda. That means how we actually get the true happiness and the joy which is within us. So I'm going to share with you a little bit. I want you to reflect on it in your own time. See, imagine like a solar system. See, solar power is lighting up the earth. So what is it? This is the sun. From the sun's ray coming up and lighting up the earth. So we have the day over here and the other part on the other side. So it is the sun's ray. The sun is the energy. The moon in turn receives for night to light us up. So that is the moonlight, which is not its own. We say it is the moonlight. We forget to understand that it actually belongs to sun. Now, on that understanding, imagine whatever we are doing, whatever we are learning, whatever we are thinking of attainment to change our life, to make it better, more peaceful, more happier. It all happens because of, like the sunlight, what is Vedanta talks about is consciousness. Consciousness. Unless you're conscious, you can't do anything, you can't understand anything, you cannot do anything. So zero consciousness, I'm starting from the other side, is called being dead. Little bit consciousness is like in coma. Little more, you're unconscious. Better than coma. Little more, consciousness is we are in deep sleep. And a little better is disturbed sleep, and a little better is absent-minded, and perfect is when you are in all attention focused. Now this consciousness actually is doing everything for that what we were talking about, is the joy and the happiness and attainment and money and the property and good health and a perfect relationship. All those is happening because of the consciousness. How does it happen? Let's say you have a desire to eat an ice cream. Good idea, no? Even if it is cold, you would love to have an ice cream. So there is this ice cream. Imagine. The moment you look at it, you have a desire. I want to eat that ice cream. But it is not there with you. So what happens? You feel sad. I don't have it. I wish I could get it. So that ice cream did not enter our mind, our eyes, to tell us what came is the light reflected from that and created an image in the cornea, and which in turn went into, through the brain, various circuitry to what is called reflective consciousness. That consciousness throws a little light into the mind, and that mind starts analyzing based on what all things we have learned about ice cream and our experiences before, and thinking about all of them, and where was the best ice cream you had and things like that. And then the mind works out and he says, come on, why don't you go down and buy it and have it. This is called Vishayananda. You're fulfilling your various desires. So what's wrong with it? We are doing it every moment. What is wrong with it? Almost this is our life. If you look at it carefully. What it is like, have you noticed a dog? It's running around and supposing there is a bone lying somewhere. A dry bone. And it's crazy about bone. So it picks up the bone, goes and sits down on corner where other dogs are not coming and finding, and it starts to chew it. It's chewing the bone. The bone has nothing in it. It was a dry bone. And the bone's sharp edges is cutting its lips and the inside of the gum. With that, what is happening? His own gum and the lip is bleeding. And the dog is enjoying that blood and thinking it's the bone. It's the bone which is giving me that great taste. And after it is done for a while, and then it goes and hides the bone somewhere and says, I'm going to take it again later. And after some time, he'll again dig it up, again do the same thing. And this is what we are doing. And this is how the enjoyments are coming out. But the moment something connects you to that consciousness, this didn't happen because of the consciousness. What happened is, the moment you saw the ice cream and got the ice cream and you started eating it, what is our biggest mistake? Biggest mistake is we believe that joy and the happiness was there in the ice cream. So we start to enjoy and we say, this is my favorite ice cream. This is my favorite. What coffee is that? Which is the Phoenix Ball, which is Starbucks coffee. And we are craving for that. And we think it's the Starbucks coffee, it's the ice cream which has the joy, that iPhone 10 which has the joy. And if I can have this relationship, that's my life's dream. Or if I could have a house like that, or so much of money. But what is this worshipping of the truth? Satyameva Jayate. The truth alone stays. Notice none of these things, what we talked about, what we remember we talked about a little while ago, they're all zero. Why zero? Because it is not permanent. Whatever is not permanent is zero. Whatever is permanent, it stays. And what is that? Is the truth. Truth alone wins, truth alone pervades and prevails. Prevails meaning always there. And the only thing which is the truth of the universe as per your own reflection and the Vedanta talks about, is the consciousness. That consciousness was there before the universe was created. As per Vedanta, it will be there even if the universe gets annihilated. And it will again create. And that consciousness is something which you and I, if you look carefully, are most unconscious about. Are we really conscious about our consciousness? No. And if you look carefully, indirectly, you are actually training the children as a teacher, or let's say teaching tennis or chess. What are you doing? Telling them, pay attention, concentrate. What are they doing? They're actually bringing that consciousness, bringing that element into the topic. And supposing there is something that you start liking it, you put more attention onto that. That's more concentration. And that is called epistemology, theory of knowledge. How do you learn that knowledge? Where is the knowledge coming from? It is similar like the ice cream. And it is the consciousness through the mind, and then it goes into the memory. If you like it, you never forget it. Like vanilla ice cream, like walking, like swimming. You can never forget. Cycling. Or some such academic subjects which you really liked. But Charles' law, Boyle's law, Faraday's law? Very few of us, unless you are utilizing it for your day-to-day. So what is the message here? That you and I need to be conscious about our consciousness. And this is the essence of the Vedanta. What is this consciousness? Where do I get it? Okay, I'm sold. How do I get it now? How do I become more conscious? That consciousness is you. All you have to become aware, and that consciousness is not body, not mind, not intelligence, not memory, not ego. Shankaracharya is saying, Mano buddhi ahankara chittana na aham. Aham is that big I. It's the consciousness. That is not me. After all, when you went off to sleep in the dream state, your body was there. Body didn't go with you. But you dreamt. And when you woke up, supposing you recollected your dream, think for a second, how much parts of that dream actually was real to you? Whether it was eating something, going for a holiday, or maybe a cruise, or maybe in the mountain Himalayas, or maybe a foreign journey, you dreamt about all that. Or meeting some very special celebrities. How much of them are actually true? What would you say? How much of the whole dream is true? Is it 0, or is it infinite, or is it 100? What is the unit? Would you say 0? You might tend to. It is not 0. It is only 1. And what is that 1? That 1 is you. You were the only one who was present there. And you're the only one who is recollecting that dream now. And you're reliving that dream. Just like the dog and the bone. The dog existed. So, now looking at the other way of the look at the dog, if the dog was not conscious, dog would not enjoy that bone. So in the dog also what is important is the consciousness. And this consciousness, when you apply and start to reflect on it, start to take, this is what, let's say Shadhu Mehmet is talking about, making the classrooms more attractive, more interactive, more outdoor teaching. These are what? Take them out for various field trips and learning process of making it in such a way. Supposing they have gone down and attended a very nice, attractive place and did, let's say, if answer took the theory of knowledge people outside somewhere for 3 days for the kids or something. So naturally they will remember those incidences, and possibly if the whole workshop has really hit their heart is in that I loved it. The memory of those things would not be lost. It would always be there. And let's say I love doing combat flying. First time when I went in to fly the plane, and when I saw that huge aircraft and those multiple switches, and I was saying, my God, I wasn't nervous, I wasn't excited. I was thinking, how am I going to fly them? Can I really do it? And I was thinking, my God, it's the enormity of the thing which was eating me up. And notice, we did learn to fly. And when we flew, you can put me anytime in the aircraft, I'll fly it. I became a test pilot. You know what the test pilot does? A test pilot will, let's say, I fly a Jaguar, come back, land, go and have a cup of tea, and come back and fly now a Boeing 737. Totally different. And come back and land, go and have a cup of tea, and maybe fly a helicopter, or maybe a microlight. There is no connection about similarity, excepting they all fly. So if you and I can make the children get connected and love to do it, that is the essence of the Vedanta which we are bringing in. What is Bhajanananda? Being continuously conscious of your consciousness, which is, as per Vedanta, is called Ishvara, is always there. Where? Everywhere. As per Vedanta, is Sarva Vyapi, everywhere. Can you think about a place where there is no consciousness? It is there. So as per Vedanta, is that Sarva Vyapi is also Anantam. It's infinite. And that's the definition of, as per Vedanta, is the God is Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahman. We'll talk about it some other time. But think, if I ask you, try and explain in your own words, what do you think who God is or what God is? Can you explain in your words? You will hear most people say God cannot be explained. God is, and something in your own mind, depending on your own reference level, depending on your own beliefs and practices. But it all ends up in every religion to that concept of talking about infinite, can do anything, is there everywhere. Sarvavyapi, Anantam, Advaitam. There are no double, there are no two, there are no two gods in any religion you talk about it. Statues, yes, there are many millions of statues. So now, how does it apply to you and me? You and I have to awaken that consciousness which is already there and make it get focused. The more focusing you do, the better they are. Just because they get 45 out of 45 or 56 out of 56 doesn't mean they're totally focused. It's not 100. It may be 7 and 8 or 9 compared to 1 and 2 of the others. So, if you and I can make it very interesting, very attractive, and they could never forget it. So the IB is talking about, to do that, is that interactive way, which is you're talking about it, you're experiencing it, you're tasting it, and you hold on to those very special human excellent character. This is what we briefly talked about. This is how the learning process takes place. But as per Vedanta, no learning is true knowledge. No learning is true knowledge. The only knowledge is true, which is who you are. The moment you find out, who am I? So notice the people who found out, who am I? Let's say Buddha. And notice he continued to discover such knowledge which spread his name and he became immortal. Let's say Vivekananda. Notice he found out, he realized it. So what happened to him? If he read, he bought this Encyclopedia Britannica. There were 32 volumes those days. So, one day he was walking into the library. He was very fond of his library and reading. So his disciple, right in the front, the fresh arrival, was the Encyclopedia Britannica. And Vivekananda was reading them at that time. So they just walked in and this boy told Vivekananda, Gurudev, I wish somebody can ever read this encyclopedia completely, and no, it's so difficult. Vivekananda said, why do you say so? He said, sir, these books, how can you remember them? He said, really? I've finished 11 of them. You take any one of those 11 volumes, open it, ask me any question from any page. And this boy, Sharat Chandra, he actually did that. He was so intrigued. Challenging your guru is very difficult in any religion. But he was so intrigued, he actually went down, he looked at again Vivekananda, he said, really? He said, go ahead. He opened, he said, volume number 3, page 346. He said, page 346 reads this. And he finished learning all of them, which I never forgot about it. This is what is called getting connected with the consciousness. How do you do it? It's a great idea, I'm sold. Tell me now, how do I do it? And this is where we talked about is listen or read. Either one of them called Shravanam. Listen. Or read. You're listening to yourself, or maybe your teacher is talking, so you're listening. And then reflect on it. Mananam. Reflection. Notice in IB talking about reflection. And then is that meditation. Nididhyasana. Only 3 simple ways. The one monk, after practicing for 30 plus years, comes to his Gurudev and he's saying, Gurudev, you told me I'm practicing, I'm doing service, I'm looking after everything, but the moment I sit down, my mind is bombarded with 10 million thoughts, I'm not getting peace. What should I do? So this monk's guru, who is a 30-year-old monk, his guru, he said, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasana. He said, Gurudev, I'm doing it for 30 years. So the senior monk said, better luck next time. There are no other way. The Zen, there's a young monk and a little senior monk and a nice and good senior monk. They all 3 were meditating together. So the young monk, he found that the temple up there, and on top of there, their flag was flapping. So he just said gently, The flag on top of the temple is waving. The flag is moving. Little senior monk, if the flag is not moving, it is the wind which is moving. And little senior monk, who was amongst them the senior most, either it is not the wind which is moving, it is the mind which is moving. The senior most monk, they are both. He was in the temple and below the flag somewhere. He must have been watching these three. He put his head out and he said, "Your tongues are moving." The message for you and me is talk less, word more. Thank you very much.